So this is where we are at the moment. I've put my first furring piece in all the way along there. So I've got my longest point, well the highest point there is 122 mil. My lowest point is 65 mil. It's got a hell of a bend on it. So all I'm doing is sticking in a string line. So I've got my two highest points over here, which are going to slope that way and that way. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. I think that we've all had enough. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In the last video you would have seen us putting the new rafters and the felt and batten temporary. In today's video I'm going to lift some of the roof up, start putting the furring pieces into the existing roof and the same into the bottom of this roof, and I'm going to try and work my way through and get all the furring pieces done and finished. Morning guys, so we are back from where we left off last night. Just a few things to do this morning. As you can see, you've got all the felt on and the tipping down rain, which is a struggle. Very dangerous. It was getting dark, it was soaking wet, I was slipping on the battens. But yeah, temporary covered over the ridge just to make sure it didn't go through next door, and also I did try and cover up underneath the tiles to make sure it didn't leak inside ours, but it did. The room downstairs got soaking, so today I just want to try and tuck that felt under there, try and get it covered over temporary just to try and keep a lot of the water out. Maybe chuck a few tiles back under just to cover it all up. Once I've done that, next step is to push these tiles up and start the furring pieces. So that's the plan for today. Got lots to do. A bit of cleaning up as well down below, as you can see, bit of a mess. So yeah, clean up today, furring pieces and tidy this up. Okay, so all I'm doing guys is I'm pushing that third row of tiles up because the second row's nailed in. I'm going to do that all the way down until I can't anymore. I'm going to take the nails out of the second row, take them out, lift this row out, and then I can then start taking my furring pieces in through, connecting to the rafters. And I can do the same over there. I can take that batten off, connect my furring pieces into my new rafters over there, and then it's all tied in. And then it pretty much be ready for the first layer of OSB once I've got all my furring pieces in. Right guys, so this is what I've done. Just peel the felt up now, and what I'll do is I will run my furring piece all the way along this edge down here, and then I'll fix noggins through on every single rafter with a slight fall. Once I've done that all the way along, I have to smash those tiles off. I will then fold the felt back down, put some new I'll put some new membrane felt down first, fold that over, and then there is a batten running across the back. Chuck a few tiles on, slide the top ones over just to keep it watertight enough for now, because at the moment you can see straight into that room, straight into the bathroom, and then that bit of roof goes over our kitchen toilet area, which still has a ceiling, and we don't want that collapsing on us. Okay, so this is where we are at the moment. I've put my first furring piece in all the way along there, and it drops off down there, so that's going to be the set height. I've got my noggins going through, attached to their existing rafters with a bit of a slope, so it all runs this way. I've done the same round this edge. I've done a furring piece that slopes from the 5-inch all the way down to about 2 inches by there, because we've got some details going around this wall. And what I'm just doing now is sticking in these sloping pieces now, the slope from there down to here, so all the water will run off. So our roof will then be flat roof up to those joists, rafters sorry, and then we'll have our insulation and board on top. So I'm just doing the edges first so I can then cover it with membrane to cover up all the gaps going inside, and then once we've done that I can carry on the furring pieces through here, through off the end, and I can work on all the gutter details then over in the 3 corners there and over there. So that's on the cards for another day, but try and get this wrapped up today and get it all watertight. Right guys, so that's going to be us wrapping up for the day. I've got that main furring piece at the back and down the edge. Just putting some felt over this now, just to give us a bit of protection so the water doesn't get inside. Chucking a few courses of tile just back in to keep the felt down. and that's going to be us, and we're going to crack on with some more furring pieces another day. Right, so I'm going to start the day by doing a centre furring piece from up there, sloping down towards me. That's the centre there, and then it's going to go from there and then slope down towards the corner there. So I'm going to do a bit of like a 45, well, it's not 45 degree, a bit of an angle there, so they stop as they catch on to the next pieces. It's all going to run off to that corner, and then once I've got this corner sorted, I can then work my falls out from the middle. So there's a higher slope sloping this way and a high slope sloping that way from the middle outwards, so I can go to my outlet there and my outlet over in the corner. So that's the plan for today. Alright, so I just put my timber in, guys. As you can see down there, it's got a hell of a bend on it. So all I'm doing is sticking in a string line straight down the side, just so I can pull in the middle and fix it in the center nice and straight. Right, so building control have been, they're happy with everything so far. The only thing they've asked me to do is to stick black DPC on the end, so it's not sitting directly on the masonry. He did say I could just run it across the wall just to stop it coming through, but I do want to stick block work in between these so it's level. So what I've done is just wrap around the end just to keep the masonry away from it. So I'm just doing that now. I'll do it on the other side, just over there as well, and then I'll crack back on with my furring pieces. So guys, I've got my two highest points over here, which are going to slope that way and that way, and then I've got a high point there and there, and the middle one's going to be dropped. This is where the outlet's going to be for the first rainwater outlet. That runs this way, that runs that way, straight into this outlet. That ramps up to the high point to the middle, ramps back down, and then same again. There's going to be a lower timber in the middle, creating a little valley here. There's going to be timbers up under there like we've done over there with a slope, so everything valleys down here to another outlet in the center by here. And you can see the fall we've got there. It's about 30 mil fall down to there, over 1.5 meters. So yeah, that's where we're going now. Get all these furring pieces on this side. I need to pick up some more timbers from the local builder merchant, but yeah, that's where we're at. So just a quick tip to do long furring pieces like that, where you've got very long distances that you need to get level. Obviously I don't have a jig set up because they're all individual furring pieces. I don't have a chalk line, so yeah, best thing to do is measure entire length, find out your lowest point, find out your highest point, measure your lowest point there, measure your highest point at the end. And what I do is I split the timbers into halves and then into quarters, just enough to get my level across. So all I've done is I've got my longest point, well the highest point there is 122 mil, my lowest point is 65 mil. The difference in height was 57 mil. Split that in half, which is 28 mil, add on to the 65 gives me 93.5, which is that height there. Split it in half again, which is 28.5. Sorry, split that in half again, that's 14.25. So that's all I've done down here. So I did 14.25 onto 65 mil, which gave me 70, 80 something. I can't even do maths. And then I added the quarter onto there again. So that's like 100 and something, 108. And that's 122, that's 93.5, that is, oh, let me just check because I can't even think, 79, and then that's 65. So once you start sawing down your line, it goes all the way down, perfect all the way, and you might get a tiny mil or two discrepancy, but that's the easiest way I find if you haven't got a string line and you haven't got a jig set up and you need to do all your furring pieces all individually. So yeah. Right guys, we got a little bit of an issue. Our SD cards have both broken for the GoPro. So yesterday I finished off these rafters here, these furring pieces up here. I just need to put a section in from this corner down there, a little 45 in the corner, and then that is that side all done and dusted. And then I'm just working on the last four timbers to go down here, and then once I've done that, I just need to work out this little corner here and work out those timbers down there, and then that is the furring pieces done for the roof. So I'm just going to carry on cracking on, because it's just the same thing over and over again, cut and measuring, cut and measuring. So yeah, that's what we got to do. But as you can see, don't know how I managed it, cut this way too short. There's my pencil mark to cut. There must have been a pencil mark there somewhere, and I've cut it way too short, so that's good times. So just another one, guys. I did do this yesterday, but I was a bit tired when explaining this. So I've got my timber up there, 122mm. Timber down there needs to be 74mm, because I don't have a string line, or I haven't got a jig set up to cut furring pieces, because they're all different. The next best thing is how I do it. This is my halfway mark, that is my quarter-way mark, and all I do is work out the difference between 122 and 74, which is 48mm. So for my halfway mark, I just split 48 in half, which is 24, and add it on to 74, which works out at 98mm, which is there. And then for the quarter-way, I half, which is 24, half that to 12mm, that on top of 74, which is 86, which is that there, that's 86mm. And then for the three-way mark, once again, 12mm less than 122, which is 110mm. So this way I can get my furrings almost perfectly dead straight all the way down. I don't know if you can pick that pencil mark up, but as you can see, the timber's not straight at all. So this way, at least then, I've only got discrepancies minor over each roughly meter. So that's the best way I can do these furring pieces at the moment, which is working out all right. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I do for everyone, and that's where we're going. Gonna get that all in tonight, hopefully. Right guys, so unfortunately we've run out of timbers, so we had to pop over to the local builders merchant and carry them over by hand. I think we got about 8 lengths or 9 lengths of timber, 6x2s, just to cut in for furring pieces. So I'm just going to basically show you the easiest way to do furring pieces if you don't have a string line or you don't have a jig to cut the furring pieces. That's a bit small, that timber. 117, should be 122. Right. Right guys, so all the furring pieces are done, they're all completed, fixed in. So the plan of action today is I'm going to try and build up my blockwork up to DPC, up to steelwork height here, and then I'm going to try and getting all of the internal course block work up to height of the timbers, so then I can put my cavity tray in over the steel. So that's the plan today. That's what it's looking like at the moment. Lots of fiddly cuts and messing about, so I'll probably be on this most of the day. As you can see, it has been raining. It's meant to be on and off raining all day, so I'll just see what I can get done. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment.